Hey guys, this is Mark at VideoGameMuseum.com. I want to show you a pretty easy repair for your N64 joystick on your N64 controller. As you can see, and as you I'm sure know pretty well yourself, these things just go to absolutely garbage after a while. They wear out. All sorts of plastic on plastic is wearing inside, and they just turn into absolute garbage. Obviously the rest of the controller is good, so it's nice to be able to just replace the joystick. So what we have here is a new joystick we're carrying. It's actually by RepairBox, and it comes in this nice nifty little box. It's pretty similar as far as the style and setup and height and everything of the original. So I want to just show a quick installation video on how to put these in. It's not bad at all. Obviously it comes in a nice little box. Inside is a little bit of bubble wrap for bonus protection, and then inside of that is your joystick. So side by side they're pretty similar. Texture wise, it actually feels like it has a little bit more traction to it, if that makes sense. It has these same rings, but it's almost like there's a little bit more texture to it. Of course, once it's inside there, it seats in and it's more or less the exact same footprint and everything. So let's set that off to the side and open up the N64 joystick or controller. If you've never done this before, there are 2 screws in here, and then we've got 7 screws on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it takes a little time, but if you have just a Phillips head screwdriver, so that's 4 points. Then it's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is make sure all these are unscrewed. So yeah, if you're watching this, obviously you're a fan of the N64, or at least everything except for their joysticks. Great system. As a kid in high school, I was playing the N64 a lot with my buddies. I'd go for a run, and then I'd often end up at my buddy's place, and we'd play either Mario Kart or GoldenEye. I actually didn't have an N64 as a kid, so once I was in college, they started to hit the used market, and I could get them at like a used CD store and stuff like that, or Goodwill or wherever the heck I got my first one. But always loved the N64. Great games. GoldenEye was just breakthrough, and heck, Mario Kart was phenomenal. So I put a lot of hours into that. Unfortunately, I probably contributed a lot to destroying my my buddy's joysticks on his controllers. There are certain games that are just absolutely terrible for that, and I hear Mario Party is probably one of the worst ones. I never was a big Mario Party guy, but apparently that's pretty bad. But regardless, even with your traditional games, they just went horrible. They were bad. It's kind of funny to think that was one of the few systems where it's almost guaranteed that third-party controllers were better than the first-party. I think that's probably why Nintendo also issued so many different colors like this one. There are just a million different colors. But obviously I knew people needed to buy new joysticks or new controllers, and why not just make them feel at least halfway good that they're getting something fun and some new color. I think this color here is like neon yellow or neon green or something like that, or atomic or some variation of that. Alright, so there you go. You just lift it apart. That's pretty straightforward. And since I had them all unscrewed, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9 screws. I'm just lifting them out to make sure they're all still in place. Alright, it's pretty easy to have these shoulders fall off. They'll probably fall off at some point in the repair. But inside, there's your circuit board. That's where the actual joystick plugs in. And we have 3 screws. And this is the conductive pad that the trigger ties into. So, whoops, there goes one shoulder. Alright, so I'm going to take off this one. Alright, just to match the orientation so you can sort of see this. As you can see, this is the bottom, so you sort of see the fatter part of this is the bottom. Remember that, because that's how the new one's going to install. Obviously, remember how you take this off too. So this is just going to pop off, and we'll move that slightly off to the side. And with the screwdriver, we have 3 more screws to take out. These we'll reuse, so hold on to them. And the new joystick is going to fit right into place. Now this is a pretty unique controller. Obviously Nintendo was trying something totally new. If anything, it would have been nice had they followed like the Sega Saturn's pattern or something like that, because man, were there better joysticks out there. Whoops. There's the screw that I just pulled out and stuck to the screwdriver, so there's one of them, and then we got the other 2 here as well. So we're going to set those off to the side. There's the joystick. We just lift it out of place. Just look how ugly that thing is. So just in shambles. Just comparing them side by side. Pretty similar. See a little bit of coloration difference, texture difference, but assuming that we're standing up straight, the height's pretty similar. And obviously different circuitry, same cabling and everything as far as connectors concerned. So there you go. This is garbage. You can keep that for your collection if you really want to. Obviously probably put some hours into it. So we're going to flip it in there. Obviously line up the holes with the holes. And start with screw at a time. I'm a big fan of just dropping it into place and just getting one of them started. Seems to make it easier to get the other ones to go into place. I've seen a lot of different methods online. I definitely did my fair share of studying as I was researching these. We love different repair methods, and I've tried a lot of them as far as just getting the original joysticks back into place. Or just restoring the actual original joysticks. I wish there were what I felt like was a good method, but I really didn't find any. I tried everything from nail polish to tape to surf resin to you name it, and it just seems that like a replacement part is a lot more reliable and easier, and man, I just sort of guaranteed to work. Alright, so pull this out of the way. So I got those 3 screws in. Alright, assuming this blue pad, we'll just say for sake of argument that it fell off like that, you just snap the board into place. You can see this black part. Those are actually the conductive areas. So that's a circuit that gets closed by this. That's just a little conductive pad there. So it just conducts the electricity and creates, obviously a closed circuit, so that signals that you pull the trigger. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, so that's what's going on inside your trigger, and you can sort of see there how this works. Obviously we have a little pen out there. You can see how it's closer to the top. So if you didn't remember which way you pull this out, you see there's a fatter part. Put the skinnier part up, the fat part down. It's a little bit of a pain. Obviously this is probably about the hardest part, is just getting this thing in there. Nice. Yeah. There we go. So there it is. I sort of snapped it into place. And you just, pull those cables out of the, whoops. However you want to sort of keep those out of the way. Make sure this is in place. Make sure you have your screws. It's easy to forget one of these things. Obviously there's my shoulder pad that had fallen off. Shoulder pad. Shoulder button that had fallen off. Alright, now, yeah, this is a good opportunity to do a little cleaning. You can see how nasty this stuff gets in here. Look at that. It's like just grime. Yuck. Ugh. It's nice to have a nice little rag to touch that up or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so off to the side is the bottom of the controller. Just set it into place. If you want to mix and match, some people, this is a good opportunity to do that. This might look good with a lot of different colors. Sort of a way to keep your controller separate from your buddies if you're a kid, and everyone had the gray controller. So the hardest part, of course, is just getting this just to line up just right. You've got 9 different screws that need to fall into place. If you take them all out, that might be an easier way to handle this step. I like to just fuss with it until they all get into place. Alright, it looks like we've got some snug connection there. Alright, and then gotta screw them all back in. Anything, this is the more labor intensive part. This would be a quick 5-minute repair, or even 2-minute repair, obviously, if you had all the screws out. Yeah, there are a lot of systems that had really durable controllers, and a lot that didn't. Oh, I hear a little piece of plastic rattling around in there. You know, little beads of plastic like to fall off these things. There it is. Look at that. That just came off the casing somewhere. Anytime you're moving things around, you know, there's little tabs of plastic. This is a good chance to shake those out. Alright. Hopefully I got it. And of course, get this snap back together. But yeah, different qualities of controllers. You know, the original Nintendo had a pretty durable controller. Super Nintendo did. N64 didn't. You can see GameCube controllers are more or less built like tanks unless your dog chews on them or something like that. So Nintendo seems to have learned its lesson. I'm a huge fan of the Dreamcast controller and the joystick on that thing. I like to collect Dreamcast stuff, and man, those things never seem to die. It's very rare to get a broken Dreamcast one. Alright, let's see if maybe I didn't get this one. Yep, there it is. That's not lining up quite right. Alright, I'm just double checking all the screws. I guess you can always do it by just turning it upside down. Alright, and there you have it. The joystick is now centering properly. Look how firm that is. You know, my tapping the old one, look at that. Barely even need to touch it, and it's already flying one side to the other. So, you know, this is a nicely restored controller. Now it's actually going to be functional to play any of your favorite games again. And of course, if you want to look at our other repair videos, we've got a bunch of those at videogamemuseum.com. If you want to buy one of these joysticks from us, we'd be more than happy to send you one. You just go to videogamemuseum.com and look for links there, or just click under the video. We've got a bunch of links down there and more information. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to share them under the video. Thanks for watching, and happy retro gaming.